Hey guys, what's up? This is Connery from Out of Work Outdoors, and today I'll be doing a review on my Leatherman SuperTool 300. And you can see it right here. This is what it is. It's all stainless. And one of the main reasons why I bought it is because I've always bought the cheap ones, where you would buy one for maybe 10 or 20, even $30, and take it fishing, and maybe a week later you'll pop it out of your backpack and it's all rusted. So I actually, this time around, after watching Nothing Fancy do a Leatherman booth review at SHOT Show, I think it's 2012 or 2011, I actually went out in search for a multi-tool that would, do it for me. Okay, so in my opinion, the only time a multi-tool is useful is in every situation when it's really general use. You're not going to be using these screwdrivers to do any type of say repetitive action where you're always screwing things in and out, like say if you're working on a car or something like that. It's more primarily for like backup. Like, it's good to have, like, that way you can combine like 10, 12 tools into a compact piece. Okay, if you had 12 tools, they'd be lined up across this table, where you can cram that into one. Okay, that's like that's a big plus. That's the whole point of a multi-tool, in my opinion. All right. So what is hidden in here? You got pliers, you got a knife. Well, that's not a knife. Well, that's a knife. That's a rope knife. You got, let's see, can opener. Yeah, you got a can opener. You got a Phillips screw head. You got a flathead screwdriver, which I broke already. We'll get to that in a little bit. And you got a saw. Okay, good size saw. It's about 2.5 inches long. All right, let's check out the other side. The other side, you got a straight edge knife. You got another flathead screwdriver. Another flathead screwdriver. This was probably more for prying on things. And yeah, this, which I hardly ever use, is probably for punching into I don't know, cans and things like that. I haven't used them yet. You got a file, a fine and a finer on this side. Okay, fine and finer. Well, this is only like one direction cross, and this is bi-direction, so it's more like diamonds and straight. Okay, so you got that, and up top was the business end. You got the needle nose pliers, and you got the cutters, which are removable, and it's actually a really good design. This is one of the things that this is the main feature that actually that I saw that basically pushed me over the edge, and I bought these because of that feature, because that sole feature right there. And what that is you have replaceable cutters, or the dikes, some people might call them. These are replaceable. $1.50. From what last time I checked, it's $1.50 each, so for about $3 you can replace these. Okay, so all you gotta do is just undo that little screw head right there with that special, I think it's T screw on both sides. Replace them, and you got a brand new one. Okay, a brand new set of cutters. Now, the other cool thing that I really like about this that you pretty much cannot find with other say cheap or even most of the other ones around this price is how this thing locks. Okay, because you got this locking mechanism that basically starts off right here, and when this slides over, this little notch will get caught up on that. So it goes over like this, and it goes like that, and it locks. And in order for you to unlock it, you have to press down on this to bring it back up. So that's a good feature to have. And for me, it's always a good thing, because if you want to grab it like this, you want this blade to be as solid as it can be. So it is. If you hold it like this, or if you hold it like this, as long as you don't hold it here, it won't go anywhere. And even if you do, it's still not going to go anywhere anytime soon. So you got to depress that to bring it back down. Okay, and there you go. Okay, so this is the one I use the most. It's always a good tool to have, especially when you're fishing and the hook's really in the fish really bad, and you gotta pull the hook out. It's always a good tool to have. So how much did I buy it for? I think I bought it from Walmart for $69.99. This thing is all stainless steel, right? So why is it rusting? Well, I'm not exactly sure on that, but I guess it's because no matter how good your stainless is, it's still gonna rust up a little bit on you. And I just actually didn't really take good care of this because most of the times it's kind of stowed away. So whenever I bring it out, I'll use it and I'll put it right back in its storage compartment, which is not inside of a backpack. It's actually on the side of a sheath of a buck Hoodlum sheath, which fits perfectly. And I'll show you that in a little bit. And what I'm thinking the cause of this is when I go fishing and I happen to actually cross rivers. And when I cross rivers, the backpack is in the water. Like, I don't carry the backpack atop of my head. A lot of my fishing gear that I buy has to be watertight. And this is no excuse. So if you see all these little rusty areas, yeah, that's because of it's gone through water and it hasn't been like properly dried off or anything. So after a whole years of use, that's the rust you basically you can expect. And gone away pretty impressed with it. Then even the tips on the needle nose are still in good shape. And I've used this a lot. I've used I've used this on 4 or 5 different occasions of me and the family at the farm working on barbed wire fencing. So this is actually very impressed. I'm very impressed with the capabilities of the needle nose here. It's pretty good material, because I know that I've also used other tools like other just needle noses, and they are all busted up at the end of the day, especially when you're doing barbed wire fencing. And so it's a good tool for barbed wire fencing if anyone wants to know. And you could thrash around a bit and it'll be fine. I was always kind of iffy about the thickness of the metal or even this thing like bending. This is what I've always had problems with in the past with the multi-tools, because if you look at this part right here where it makes contact with this part when it comes out, like I'll show you right here, when it comes to that, when it touches right there, well, let me bring it out even more like that. When those two pieces touch right there, this piece of metal, if it's not good quality, from what I've seen before, is if you press them down too hard, which I always do with barbed wire, or when you're trying to cut something, it doesn't matter how sharp your blades are, if this piece right here can't, get a close up, if this piece right here cannot withstand the pressure or equal pressure of the cutters, this piece will warp. And if it warps, your pliers will never close up right again. Like, if that piece warps or deforms in some way, this edge or this angle or the space between the two handles eventually will touch. And when they touch, you don't get the pressure you normally should get up front. And at one time, I thought I was seriously gonna like deform these, because I put 2 barbed wires right on the cutters, and I put my entire weight on top of here, and this was on the ground. So it was basically like this, and I put my hand here to cut barbed wire that was here, and I put my knee right here in order to cut this barbed wire, and it cut it. It snapped the barbed wire clean, and I was like, awesome, but now I probably have to replace my pliers now, or my teeth, or my cutter teeth on the front here. So I pulled it up and I looked at it and was like, wow, nothing happened. So for my testing, this thing, you could apply about, I would say, 150 pounds on it. Be fine. For my testing, I don't know if you're going to get the same mileage or not, but I can honestly say 150 pounds on it ain't gonna be a problem. Cut right through barbed wire. Okay, so pretty cool Leatherman etching here, or the logo. I like that. Oh, and I forgot to mention on the other side, it's actually, I think it's centimeters for measurement. Yep, it's centimeters on this side for all the international guys. Centimeters on one side, inches on the other side, so that's always a good thing. Alright, let's see, what else we got? Yeah, let's see. So that's always a good thing. I like that a lot. Oh yeah. This let me talk about the failures I've had with this. So it can't all be good, right? So what have I broke on it? Because if you haven't broken anything, you can't really do a good review on it. It's just my opinion. But okay, so this. I found that this screwdriver right here, the smallest one, the tip's pretty brittle since I already broke it. See? I'm bringing it close up for you guys. There we go. I broke the tip. It's not like I was prying on anything. Well, kind of, you could say it's prying, but it's more of a twisting type of thing I was doing because I was tightening some scope rings, and the way I was tightening them was, you know, like everybody would tighten them, or at least I prefer tightening them. It was just like that, and I was just turning them like that, real hard. I mean, like pretty hard, like the scope ring needs to be tightened down, and it snapped on me. So I couldn't understand why it snapped. You know, there's like a lifetime warranty on it, but just haven't had the time, and I don't think they might replace it. I'm not sure, but I don't know if they would consider that like abuse. I'm not sure. So I might send it in later, or might not. I haven't sent it in yet, but maybe one of these days if something else breaks, because that's not a big deal. It's not a deal breaker for me. It's just a small screwdriver. As far as I can tell, everything is pretty good. Everything comes out sharp too. Like this blade is sharp. Everything else is pretty good, but the only thing, like the only fuss I have with it was they didn't give you a scissor, and instead of a scissor, they gave you three flathead screwdrivers, which I didn't really understand. Especially on this side, there's like a, as you can see, there's a big, a medium, and then there's a small one that I broke. So if I was these guys, I'd probably give myself that one, the big one, and the small one right here, and make that into a scissor. I'm just saying. I mean, if for another $10, so instead of $69.99, $79.99, man, this would be so worth it. It'll be perfect. Okay, so there's some rust here, but other than that, loving this one. Loving the Multitool Super 300. It's also a good utility tool too, in my opinion. Works pretty well. It's not really an electrician's tool, but I think most people can appreciate this if they got it for a gift, especially if Dad got this as a gift. Oh my gosh, go kind of crazy. Okay, so for the other downsides of this thing's actually pretty heavy. Okay, it's not light. They put a lot of metal into it, so it's all stainless. It's gonna be heavy. Okay, do not expect this thing to be light. It's not light, and every time it folds up, it always folds up good, just like that. And let me show you where I stash it. So that's my hunting bag, right? And this is the buck hoodlum knife, or blade, whatever you want to call it. And this is why I stash it. This is where I carry it all the time, okay? Here you go. Fits in this pocket. Perfect. You just close it up like this. That's it. Bam! Done. Okay, so that's where it's always stashed. On the buck hoodlum sheath. Okay, so there it is. It's like disappeared. So that's why sometimes I forget I have it. But anyways, pops it right out. Bam! Ready to go in seconds. Then just right back in. I have a pretty cool integrated system for fishing right now. And yep, that's my SuperTool 300. Hope you guys enjoy. And maybe I'll see you next time. It's not super responsive like your smartphones, okay? So recently I just did a very interesting video on one of my hooks look a little sniper rifle builds, and as you can see, it's grouped.